change, but my mind's the same. I still wake thinking about you. You come and go, but I still love you so. You got me wishing you were laying right here. You and I, we should have tried, but it's too late, we can't go back in time.
Hello, it's nice to see you again. My name is Brian. I play bass for LaFonda.
Hey there, I am Veronica, and I sing and I also write in LaFonda.
I'm Jesse Cole and I play lead guitar in LaFonda.
Hi, my name is Valerie TOPACIO. I write, sing, and play guitar in LaFonda.
My name is Jacob Winahan, and I play drums in LaFonda.
You and me got that history. Why couldn't we just let her be? For when the stars don't align and it's not the right time, can't just stop, pause and rewind.
Tonight on Band in Seattle, led by sisters Veronica and Valerie, LaFonda crafts earnest and nostalgic pop songs that transcend what pop really can be. Welcome to Band in Seattle.
Like your last lullaby, before I hit the road. Always hate those short goodbyes, headed out 1 month of stroll. Sunny day, your business suit. I drive off, this is hard for you, 'cause you know I'm always chasing something. I come back and reminisce about desert winds and acid trips and the open road.
New Mexico just brings me back to Tour 2019, Wild Times.
We wrote it all together as a collective in a little cabin on Whidbey Island.
It's a song that's going to be on our next record, and it was inspired and written from tour. And yeah, when we wrote it, we're really missing tour. You know, the pandemic hit, and we wanted to find a way to like recreate that. And that's what New Mexico is for us, is just like a moment when you're with your best friends and you're just experiencing the life that you want to live.
Looking up, late night, clear sky, under the brightness of the moon.
It all started when my sister and I moved into a Belltown apartment near Pike Place Market. We started learning cover songs because we were like, wouldn't it be fun if we just started busking at the market on the weekends? We started writing our own music, you know, just getting better at guitar. And
We just wrote on the back of pieces of mail and journals that we carried around, and we'd always come together after work. We had our day jobs, and then we'd come home after work and just pick up the guitars and write, tell each other about each other's day, tell each other what's going on in our love lives, like trying to get over the lives we left and like form this new life together, and just, you know, embracing our return of Saturn too in a lot of ways.
And then one day, this friend of ours came over with a pair of drums, just to jam and hang out. He was drumming to some of our songs, and he was like, "You girls should start a band." And we really thought that was the best idea ever.
Veronica and I lived together years before we started the band.
In our like crazy party days.
And we reconnected years later after living together and at a show, and then went back to her apartment where her and Valerie lived, and we just jammed. And then they were like, we're starting a band, you want to be in it? And I was like, yeah, I'd love to.
It seemed like everything was just kind of coming together, and it happened really, really fast.
My first connection with them was with Valerie. We met on a dating app, actually. We've only ever been great friends, but I had a picture of me playing bass on said app, and they were looking for a bass player. I heard some of the songs that we still play even. They introduced them to me through just very foundational, raw forms. Even through those versions of those songs, I knew that there was something great.
When you came to me, I remember vividly. It seems like yesterday. I heard your plans to move away. Don't know what to say. I wanted you to stay. We sang familiar songs. We were laughing all night long. There was a time in the summer when I really felt drawn to you. Just say you didn't feel it, it's too late, 'cause you know it's true. There was a time in the summer when I really felt drawn to you. Who knows what could have happened if we took the time to see it through.
We had a Jane Fonda record right outside of our practice space where we moved in. And you know, one day we were kind of like drinking a little bit at practice. We're like a couple months in, just starting. Somebody rolled off like, what if we were just like the Fondas or LaFonda? We actually looked up like what Fonda meant on the internet. On Urban Dictionary, it means like down for anything, and it's like super cool. So we were like, okay, that is us. It also meant like little tiny restaurant in like Spanish. Something that's super special about this band is like we are all best friends, and we do a lot of like meal sharing and things like that together. So it just felt like a perfect, like the perfect like calling. It was right out in our practice space. Then when we thought of La Fonda, we said, hey, you know what? It's a name that people have heard before, so maybe they'll remember who we are. So that's why it stayed. So no regrets.
When we return, discover more about LaFonda.
I'm weak for all of you. There's nothing one can do. Oh, if this is just a phase, then I'm addicted to the craze.
Burning on the Sun. Oh man, we were writing that song, my sister and I, for like a decade. So that's why it's 7 minutes long.
I started writing this song like 10 years ago with my cousin. Years later, kind of brought it into the band, and Valerie added some incredible lyrics that kind of changed the meaning of the song, which now is really just about finding people in your life that mean everything to you and doing anything for them and dreaming together. And that's, you know, it's like almost like our band anthem. You know, we filmed the music video together when we were on tour in 2009, 19.
That music video is on YouTube. You can watch it, Burning on the Sun.
You said to me, you hold few people close. That's when I knew I needed you the most. With all these ways of living free, how do we keep our world our reality? Oh, but to transcend our dreams, I'll fight by you through anything. It was not to trust. We've only just begun.
You know, like we grew up watching music videos. Just our dad sang our Lola, which is Filipino for grandmother. Our dad's mom, she taught choir in the Philippines, and she always like lined up the cousins over the holidays, made us sing Silent Night. In terms of like music, band stuff, I didn't get into music until a lot later in life because I was always I'd say writing is what brought me to music first. I was living on the other side of the state. Veronica actually, when I was living in Spokane, she got me an acoustic guitar for Christmas. I think I was like 23, 24 years old. Didn't really pick it up for a year. You know, there was some things that happened in Spokane where I was just like going through my mid-20s. So I just looked at the guitar one day and I just decided to just start playing and just never stop. And Veronica was always just my biggest cheerleader and someone just to help push me, and she's just my greatest inspiration.
Blow your smoke on me and fill me up empty. Not to try. We've only just begun. Circle of your fuss. We're burning on the sun.
Brian is, I mean, he was one of the first people to ever believe in my sister and I's music. And I remember playing with him for the first time. It still feels like that, playing with him.
Brian's amazing, charismatic. He also just such a strong pillar to the band as far as like support.
Andy's really fun to play with and watch. You know, he'll get up there, he'll like start dancing, like bringing the energy, and I love that. You know, even though I'm sitting down, I like to rock out with him too.
She knew we might play games with her heart, and she didn't know how to stop from the start. Delusional bird flying high on a dream. Delusional bird kept giving.
Jesse Cole. I don't know. It's just like, how do you wrap up 6+ years of friendship in a little, you know, we've been through so much.
Jesse is amazing. He's my best friend. He's my favorite guitar player. I just like have loved watching him grow into the lead guitar player that he is because he has some really amazing ideas. He's an incredible writer and also like an incredible friend. And I love the dude so much. It's crazy.
Some things I'm not proud of. I've done some things I'm not proud of. I've done some things I'm not proud of.
After the break, find out more about LaFonda.
I think I need to let you go. Oh, right now your love is all I know. Oh. Got my own space. You're acting tough and nonchalant, staying up late, fighting all my needs and wants. When all the trust is gone, how can we carry on? I'm trying hard to forget as I drag this cigarette. I think I need to let you go. Oh, right now your love is all I know. Oh.
Let You Go is a dark song. I went through a really toxic relationship, but that song was kind of like my last word. It was my time to realize what I'm worth, and you know, I was living with someone who was a liar and a cheater, and obviously had so many dark things about himself that he needed to work on, but I couldn't be a victim of that. I mean, this song was such a healing moment for me. Like, it was me like taking back everything that I know and putting it in a song and having the last word. And you know, that feels really good, you know, after a pain like that and just heartbreak. It feels good, you know, to be able to at least have that.
I think I need to let you go. Oh, right now your love is all I know. Oh, I think I need to let you go. Right now your love is all I know.
So it was a very organic way of meeting, just through a friend of a friend. My roommate at the time worked with Brian, the bass player. They would come over sometimes late at night, you know, hanging out, and then I would be talking about music with Brian. And I'd like talk about, you know, some of my bands. He would be like, oh, this band LaFonda I'm in. He would play me their like demos that they're like just recording, and it sounded awesome. And I was like, hey, you know, if you're ever looking for a drummer. And a couple months later, I actually got like the call being like, hey man, would you be like down to like play with LaFonda, like come to the space? I'm like, yes, I'd love to. That sounds great.
What, a couple weeks later, we were playing a sold-out show at the Crocodile, and the next day we left on a 3-week tour to South by Southwest, and he just nailed it the whole time. Our first audition, well, he was a little loud, but from our first time playing together till now, he's just been killing it.
I walked on through the door. No looking back to you. I moved home, yearning more. No looking back to you.
I mean, my dream is to bring my little baby on tour, just be able to record and make records and be proud of the music that we're making.
Maybe selfish, maybe not, but I would love to travel with LaFonda. I would love to see the world with my friends, you know.
Money's nice, you know, but I really think once you kind of becomes about the money, it becomes less about like really what you're doing. The future LaFonda is the sisters. They are LaFonda. I just know that they're gonna do great things.
I love going on tour. I love playing shows. I love traveling. And I just miss that so much. And that is obviously, we have not done that in a while. You really get to spread your music, and there's different scenes there. You learn a lot and you get to see a lot. And it's just an undescribable thing and kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity when it happens every time.
You know, it's funny, like when you first start a band, you're like, oh, I want to play this cool little venue, like the Sunset Tavern in Ballard or something, and then a year later you're playing New Year's Eve there. And then your dreams kind of changed, you know? So I think we're starting to realize more of what we're capable of.
But I think ultimately I would just like to continue to have these people in my life.
Now the sunset fades, and I'm gone like yesterday. You watch me drive away, no looking back to you.
Thanks for watching. To find out more about our bands, go to bandinseattle.com.